an all-new layered Omni. Allow me to lay it on you. A female Pokemon Sword and Shield trainer was revealed at E3 2018 and goes by the name Nessa. She's a super hot water-type Pokemon trainer that has become the wet dream, pun intended, of every artist who wants to draw her, both suitable for work and in a lewd way. God bless. This is pretty normal in the gaming community. When a waifu like Nessa appears, we all go nutso and we stand this character, and it's awesome because we all get together and share in our equal like of cool looking characters. It's personally one of my favorite things when it comes to the gaming community. Unfortunately, things turned bitter when a specific artist by the name of Mary Weathery created a comic showcasing Nessa. This comic received an insane amount of public backlash because many people felt that the artist whitewashed Nessa, aka filtered out her skin color to be drastically whiter from the colored version. The outlash inevitably led to Mary both apologizing and making another version of the comic where Nessa was darker. However, this led to many artists becoming angry, collectively expressing why the backlash on Mary was unwarranted and incorrect. Many artists came out with explanations in imagery format showing exactly what whitewashing is and how Mary's original comic was just lighting and shading. While some people explain this in a more educational format, there was a wave of angry artists who decided to protest this by deliberately drawing Nessa in whitewash form. Many claiming that there's nothing wrong with it and or many doing so only to make people angry. This has been going on for quite a while now, as it's been a week since the comic was originally released, but as time went by, more drastic versions of Nessa has started popping up, one of which was an actual picture of Nessa portrayed as an actual monkey. So yeah, that's the summary of basically what went down and kind of what's still going down. There's a lot of angry people with different stances all over the place, so this is a very touchy subject. So let me just quickly give you my thoughts on it. Now, I'm not an overly sensitive person in the least bit, probably not sensitive enough to be honest. It's very difficult to trigger me because I already know a large majority of people on the internet exist only for the sole purpose of triggering people. So I kind of see through that bullshit. And with that massive group of trolls comes the other cluster of overly sensitive people who are triggered whenever someone farts or coughs. Both of these groups of people are extremes and I don't speak for any of them. It's just important to note that they exist. Also, I'm not here to teach any of you what racism is or why it exists or what you should or should not know about it or impose my beliefs onto you, okay? Live your own life and face whatever consequences you encounter along the way. I don't have time for that. But I do want to clarify what the underlying issues at stake are here so that people can, understand each other. Number one, the original artist didn't whitewash anything. It was lighting. Controversy created because people attempt to find problems with things where there are no problems. I'm 1000% certain the artist who drew the Nessa picture isn't in their basement wearing a KKK mask while screaming white power as they add the finishing touches to their Nessa drawing in Photoshop. There was no need to attack this person. Everyone shaming this person was in the wrong regardless if they felt they were standing up for something that is right. It was a really cute ass comic. I'm not budging from this stance in the least bit because this is actually the only truth about the situation. And if you somehow still feel differently, you don't understand how lighting and art works. Number two, the backlash that resulted from this was kind of petty as fuck, but kind of funny at first, at least to me. Initially, it was a response to the crowd of oversensitive people falsely jumping down the original artist's throat. You'd see pictures of Nessa in like all green or blue or invisible, etc., etc. It became a meme to make fun of that group of overly sensitive people. However, it started to involve actually whitewashing Nessa when artists began to just spam versions of Nessa where she was white or extremely light-skinned, which is kind of fucked up. It's kind of like some stupid person yelling at someone and saying, hey, that's racist. And then everyone's like, nah, bruh, it's not racist. Are you an idiot? Are you an ass? I can't believe you're just that sensitive. And then they say, in response, I will begin baiting you with something that is actually racist to teach you a lesson. Now, guys, you don't deliberately do something racist in order to teach a lesson to people who are sensitive about racism. Like, no matter how you spin that, that's just fucked up. But because we live in a meme culture on the internet where we have trolls versus the trigger, that war inevitably will break out. And it basically creates an environment for actual racism to flourish, hiding behind the guise of it's just a prank, bro, or get baited, bro. You yourself may not be racist, okay? I mean, sure, maybe your best friend Tyrone is black and gave you a personal one-on-one nigga pass. Congratulations. But sometimes our actions and stances and what we say can inherently allow racism to go unchecked, and that was the majority of the people in this case. Number three, whitewashing. A lot of people don't really get what whitewashing is or why it's a big deal. I think a lot of people are kind of confused because I've seen people create the term blackwashing, which isn't a thing, but TLDR, whitewashing is the concept of filtering out color, except color here means actual people of color. Over the years, there's been a huge misrepresentation of people of color from all ethnicities in the public eye. I remember playing Pokemon Sun and Moon and there was like 3 shades of light skin colors and one shade of dark, and it was like a Wesley Snipes purple black. Like I couldn't find a color that actually matched the color of my skin. You've seen Mr. Popo from DBZ. Go back a few years more and you'll see awful, terrible misrepresentations all over the place. And even when it's not that extreme, it can be kind of passive, like, you know, commercials or TV shows or ads or things people see on a national level where color is just absent from the picture. That's been a thing for a while. So now we're in this new era where we're trying to restore color to the public eye, right? Include color because they weren't previously included, because they were excluded. And that's why whitewashing is a thing. It's not to suggest being white is a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with being white. It's just been glorified to the point where people of color have been overshadowed and underrepresented. That's all. As a person of color myself, seeing characters in video games being ethnic and colored it's huge. It's still kind of new. People who look like me are actually appearing in video games and anime, and not in a way that's being made fun of or stereotyped. Like that's pretty cool. That's something that white people or people of very, very light skin have never had to experience, thankfully. But that's also why blackwashing isn't a concept. You know, people of color are trying to make themselves more visible in a setting that has made them invisible for a really long time. It's empowering to push color into the world because it didn't exist for so long, you know, and to whitewash it is to weaken that empowerment. It's not to say that white people can't be included. White people are just already inherently the standard and visible to the world. It's an attempt to even things out a bit, okay? Does that make sense? Like, I feel like a lot of people don't get this concept. Like, you can draw a black character as a white character by all means, okay? Go for it. You're not creating some cardinal sin of any kind, but just kind of understand the impact of your actions, all right? People of color right now are trying to feel more inclusive and feel more representative to the point where it's not a big deal for a black person or a Native American person or an Arabic person to exist in a video game. So yeah, that's whitewashing and its impact and what it means and why it doesn't work in reverse TLDR. What else can I say? This situation sucks because I think there's a lack of empathy and understanding on all sides here. People who aren't racist are being attacked. People who are genuinely impacted by racist things have their feelings being construed as triggered or being, you know, overly sensitive, marginalizing the issue to it's just art or it's just color, you know? I think along with the inability for people to see each other's perspective is ignorance. Kind of just not knowing the impact of why things are the way they are. Ultimately, when I look online, I see people strive for equality, which is absolutely fucking fantastic. Like, sometimes I think it's important to understand that minority groups are striving for this. And in order to do so, they have to empower themselves to be at that level where non-minority groups exist. Like, you know, like, I don't think white people are afraid that they'll be shot to death when they get pulled over by a cop, okay? I don't think straight people are afraid that they'll get made fun of for their sexual orientation, etc., etc. Like, I don't want to turn this into straight up politics, just kind of want to help people to understand how some people feel and why on both ends, because I think that's the best way to reach equality. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode of Laid Omni. You've just been laid. As for Nessa, she is, oh my god, she is so damn hot. It sucks that all of this drama has been the result of her appearance, but I do hope it turns into a learning experience for everyone. Moral of the story, there are many layers to racism. It's not always some stupid ass on Twitter drawing Nessa as a monkey. And sometimes we can accidentally or unintentionally create an environment that allows a form of oppression to just flourish. Two wrongs don't make a right. And can we just all agree to be angry at the right thing? And that's the fact that Pokemon Sword and Shield is probably going to suck donkey balls because Game Freak is too lazy and too rich to make a quality game. That's where I want to see the outrage personally. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the video and the subject about Nessa in the comments below. I will be down there talking with you guys and listening to different points of views as always. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If I said anything in this video that opposed your view, I'm not trying to step on your toes. I'm not trying to change who you are. I'm not trying to say that you're wrong. I'm not trying to say that you're right. I'm trying to help everyone understand everyone in some sort of facet, because I think that's just basically what we're missing, you know? Anyway, take care of yourselves and others, okay guys? Drink a lot of water and encourage other people to drink said water. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have an awesome day.